All right. Welcome into another edition of the Second Half Draft Show. I'm your host, Juice, joined by Headley and Drew. And as you can tell, we are talking about the defensive tackles, interior defensive linemen on tonight's show. We have Drew's rankings, so we're going to go through them. We're gonna discuss Drew's rankings, but of course, obviously, Headley, myself, we have thoughts, analysis on these interior defensive linemen as well. So let's get it underway. But as I'm getting this all loaded up here, getting the graphics loaded up for tonight's show, I want to get you guys' thoughts in terms of this class overall. What do you think? What do you think? Do you have a nice smattering of different types of interior defensive linemen? Are we talking all power guys? Are we talking about twitchy pass rushers? What are we looking at as far as interior defensive linemen, defensive tackles in the 2025 NFL draft class?
Man, for me, it's a lot of beef. You know, a lot of big boys in this class. You're talking about those twitchier interior defensive linemen. Those guys to me they're edge guys that could come inside, reduce down inside, and be twitchy guys. I know we're going to talk about one coming up shortly, but man, a lot of these guys up top, man, very physical, big boys. That can move too. Not just big, they can move also. I'm trying to carve out more of the three techniques. We'll see as we go along. I got a couple here on the list, but most of these guys, they can play all over the line from 0 to 5, man. So yeah, man, it's a big boy draft for the interior defensive line.
Yeah, I would agree. There are some three techniques, one technique guys. There's like you said, there's plenty of guys that are kind of moved all over the place, and so there's a little bit of you know, what can they really do if you were to leave them in one particular spot on the field versus trying to you know, put the best, I guess, front four, front seven up front in those defenses that they play in. But yeah, man, it's what's the Arby's thing, bro? We have the meats, we have the beef. What is it? Y'all know? I don't eat Arby's. I don't know, bro. I think Arby's is a front, bro, for some nefarious things, bro. Sorry, Juice. I know that might be a sponsorship down the road, bro, but I'm just, you know, I don't know if anybody disagree with me, but let me know in the comment section if that's the case. But yes, it's a lot of beef, bro. It's a lot of beef.
A lot of beef here in the 2025 draft class, prospectively. All right. Let's start, Drew. We're going to go from the bottom up here. So among those 10 to 12 interior defensive linemen that you have ranked highest in the class, we'll start at the bottom and then work our way up. Right out the gate, you both mentioned it, the beef. All right, and it's going to come in the form of Nazir Stackhouse, who anchors that D line, that impressive defensive group there at Georgia. 6'3", 320 is what he's listed at. Drew, you gave him a 6.7 grade here, which by our standard, by our metrics here at Couch Potato General Manager, that makes him a day 2 prospect. That will be an eventual starter. He may not necessarily be in the starting lineup immediately. We would imagine he breaks into the rotation fairly quickly, but down the road, you know, a year or two in is when he actually assumes the starting position. So give me your thoughts as to why you gave him a 6.7 here on our grading scale.
So every year we talk about the Georgia defensive line, and there are guys who get to cause havoc, and guys who get the production, and guys who, you know, are that chicken that you throw in the boiling. I'm always bringing it up, bro. That you can throw in the pan of boiling water with the flash and the dash and the sexy and making all the plays. And then you have the guys who have to hold up and do all the dirty work and doesn't necessarily get all the production. And I think that is the role for Nazir Stackhouse in this defense, unfortunately for him. So what is that role, right? So he's got to hold up. He's got to take on the double team. He has to not necessarily be able to rush the passer. Got to have those linebackers, keep them boys clean and clear so they can come downhill, make plays, or make sure that the guys on the edges can make make sure they're one-on-one, so that he's the guy, you know, that again has to take on those double teams and do the dirty work. But if you're going to be that guy, you got to be strong at the point of attack, give up no room, no space in terms of where you're at. You got to be able to lock in and lock guys out. He's able to do that, disengage The thing that I like about him that was kind of surprising at his size, bro, is he can get he got a little sneaky agileness to him. And he can split double teams, man. This sounds silly, but he can get skinny, bro. He can get skinny, kind of squeeze through, or if maybe he don't make it all the way through. Maybe he's kind of stuck right in between the double team, but he's able to penetrate and make things turn, a different way from where it was supposed to go. And he's a guy who he will run things down on the backside or just run things down the field, man. But he holds up really, really well. I was just getting a little upset that he wasn't able to really pass rush. I was watching a game or so. Like if you go back and you watch the Florida State game, he really wasn't pushing the pocket, pressing the pocket. He was just kind of holding up, doing his thing, taking on the center of the guard, and the other guys are kind of the guys eating. So I think his ceiling is a lot higher than maybe I'm rating him, and maybe I don't get to see him kind of turn the corner when it comes to being a consistent pass rusher because of what George is asking him to do. But I don't know, man. Sometimes I just get a little upset not being able to see that. But I think he may have it, but for now, he's got the grade that he's got.
I agree, Drew. When you look at these Georgia guys, you just want to see him one gap more. You want to see him penetrate, get after the quarterback. But in this defense, they don't really allow him to do that. He's more two gapping, playing that run. And what I noticed about him is, he's a bigger guy. What is he like? What 327? You said, but he's agile. He's agile for his size. He could change directions. And he displays quickness. Those interior offensive linemen can't match his quickness at times. I love when they do TE stunts with him, and he kind of loops around and beats guys with his quickness. So, although he's more of a run defender than a pass rusher, I like his quickness, man. And he has violent hands, and that's the thing with Stackhouse. When he uses his hands consistently, man, he's hard to block. But he has to use those hands because when he does, he keeps it away from the offensive line from attaching to him. And he kind of works well through contact. Those guys, you can have a hand on them, but I'm still working towards the quarterback, and it's hard to block him because of his movement ability at his size. And then, like I said, the hands. He wins when he uses his hands, and he can blow things up from the interior also. He forces running backs to kind of bounce it outside for his teammates to clean it up, and that's kind of what you need from a run defender, man. Sometimes you're not going to always be on the stat sheet making all the plays, but if you get that running back to change directions, he wanted to go that way, now I have to bounce it. Man, your nickel corner, your edges, everybody else could clean up because of that strong interior move that you just made. So, you see that on tape with Stackhouse as well. You talk about a guy, Tyleek Williams, Dana, that, dropped back in coverage and intercept the pass. Stackhouse did the same thing against Missouri, where he dropped back in coverage, picked the pass off, and he showed some wheels. He put on the Jets a little bit. I think he got caught from behind, but he put on them Jets, man. And, a guy that big, like we always say, shouldn't be moving that fast. So Stackhouse does have the athleticism. And just like other Georgia defenders, bro, I just want to see what it looks like one gapping. At the next level, we'll see what kind of system he goes into, whether it's more of the two gapping stuff or they allow him to one gap. And once he gets to one gapping, I think he could win at the next level as a pass rusher because of that quickness. And, the areas of improvement right now for Stackhouse for me is sometimes he comes up too high. You got to play with a little better leverage because you get blown off the ball in the run game when you come up a little bit too high. And you want to check him against NFL top tier talent. Well, against that Alabama game where Alabama has the best interior offensive lineman in college football, I thought he struggled a little bit in that game, rushing the passer and against the run. So, it's just something to watch out for with Stackhouse when you play against NFL competition. Can you raise the level of your game? And I didn't see it in the Alabama game. So I'm looking forward to him this season in the 2024 year and see what he does against better competition.
You sure you're not overestimating that pass rush upside, given the opportunity to one gap, a la Jordan Davis? You sure you're not going down that path? I'm being facetious. I'm being facetious because Jordan Davis is quite the athlete, special athlete, bigger guy, obviously, but special athlete. You thought maybe there might be something in his game where he can become, maybe a 3-tech, just a different type of body type at the 3-tech and really affect the passer from the interior defensive line. And he's a nose, he's a 1, he's a 0. That's the reality with Jordan Davis. You know what I mean? He wasn't drafted to be that, but that is where he's going to probably be his best. My thought process with Stackhouse is don't overthink it, right? Yes, if he does get an opportunity to one gap, to your point, I think he has the requisite skills to push the pocket, get the quarterback off his spot. Whether or not it's going to turn into counting numbers from a sacks perspective is a different story. But what does he do well, right? And again, I recognize what you're saying as far as, not necessarily getting the opportunity to get upfield. Perhaps he has it in his game. I honestly think that on this particular team, even with the fact that they're two gapping quite a bit, you have so much talent around you. You're gonna get one-on-ones, bro. You're gonna get one-on-ones. So what do you do with them? You understand what I'm saying? And if you're not consistently making a difference, and I'm talking from a counting stat perspective, I'm not talking about him, getting quarterbacks off his spot or hurries or whatever the case may be. I think he does that very well. Hence why he's a day 2 prospect. But in terms of being that type of player, especially at the next level, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see this year if he takes a step in that department, but I'm not sure. You want to rebut that, Headley? I don't know.
Nah, you got it, bro. You got it. I'm not super big on Stackhouse. I just see the pass rusher potential, and he wasn't really used in that capacity. But I don't have a big grade on him either. So we'll see what he does in 2024.
Dana is asking whether or not he can play defense or run defense on his way to the quarterback. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he has the ability to do that. I really do.
Okay. All right. Yeah, DK. I think he's fine at the point of attack, but yes. I don't expect him to unlock another gear. I think Georgia has a tendency, outside of the fact that they're asking them to play in a particular scheme. I think they're like a lot of these SEC teams. I think they max these guys out. You understand what I'm saying? Systemically, there may be another level to go, but I think generally speaking, we know what Nazir Stackhouse is, and it's a damn good football player. All right. Shout out Dana, checking in Mississippi Prasky D Kit. Thank you, Keith, for the kind words regarding our content. All right. Let's keep it moving. Next up here, Drew, you have one Dante Corleone. So I think our audience, Dana and D-Kid in particular, they were on Corleone last year. They were on him much earlier than we were. And now that you've had an opportunity to evaluate him, what do you think?
Hold up. It's not my notes down. I had no idea what I was going to see from him, man. So I was like, well, hopefully when I don't know anything about a player, just kind of going into it, I'm usually surprised. It usually turns out to be something positive, man. So, and I got to say that's what I saw from Dante. I said Corleone. Sound like a
Godfather type stuff.
Corleone,
yeah.
Man. Horse head in the bed, bro. You know about it? What I got here in terms of what I saw, I have methodical and deliberate movement and great hand placement pretty much every snap, man. It's like it's kind of nailed down in his brain in terms of how he's going to approach the offensive lineman. His hand placement often at times it slows down the offensive lineman and causes them to kind of have to adjust or readjust their hands because he's just so nice and quick and smooth with it. He holds up well at the point of attack in the run game, gets his arms extended, and this can disengage when necessary. It's the issues that I have with him, man, is that he might be too methodical, bro. At times, I don't see enough quickness. When I do see the quickness, it's very sparse. And at times it'll surprise the offensive lineman, like they're not ready for it because you almost never see it. He's very like everything is very calculated and very like it's not quick enough. And if he can just kind of combine the quickness with his ability to get his hands up, and he might be something. He might be. I don't want to say special, but he might be something that can be a lot more consistent in terms of a pass rush. In terms of the run game, I think he's fine because he's strong enough to stand up at the point of attack when you're that methodical and deliberate. But in terms of the pass rush, I got to see the speed, man. I gotta see it enough. I gotta see the quickness enough because it's there, but it's kind of over there. It's kind of darts on a board. It's over there. It's kind of over there. It's kind of over there. And if you can apply that with more consistency, man, he's going to be a problem for sure. At times can avoid the punch or two from the offensive lineman in terms of working out in a phone booth, moving his head, moving his body, swiping with the arms. But again, we go back to it just not being consistent enough. And I think he has the ability to be a 3 technique, but because he don't apply the quickness enough for me, maybe we slide him over there at the 1, maybe. But that's kind of how I see him. The Godfather.
Yeah, I kind of saw it a little bit the same way as you, Drew, where it's a lot of inconsistency in this game. When I watched him, like you see quickness, you see explosion. Like I see it, but it's sporadic. Like you said, it's not consistent enough because you also see those reps where he doesn't get a good get off. He gets stuck on blocks, and that hand technique. I think it needs to be improved. I know you saw the hand technique, but it got to be more consistent because that's how you win at the next level, bro. You can't win just on speed, athleticism, and power. You got to have some technical aspects of your game as well. So I need him to improve that. And they oftentimes lined him up at the nose tackle. The games that I saw, and he used some quick twitch at the nose tackle. I think he could 2 gap or 1 gap. I think he's versatile to do both gap schemes. And sometimes his motor runs hot sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. So it's that inconsistency that I'm talking about with Corleone. It does have a low center of gravity, strong lower half, very hard to move off his spot. So I think it could help in the run game immediately. But just the pass rushing upside, we got to see it more consistently with him. It's very sporadic. I noticed in 2022 is just the snaps he played. He didn't play much snaps, throughout the game. Such a talented guy, but didn't get on the field as much as he's supposed to. I don't know if that's a conditioning thing. I'm not sure what that is with Corleone, but he got to get it together because he has a lot of ability in him, but he just got to be more consistent.
He's a 3-gapper, DK? Explain yourself. Explain yourself, DK. DK asked about, does he remind you of Devondre Sweat? Are you referring to Corleone or are you referring to Stackhouse? I want to clarify there.
Hey, neither of them remind me of Sweat.
Yeah. Nah.
Sweat a little different.
Dana mentions he's a guy who played quite a bit of 0-1 while undersized for that role. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. And in this case, you're hoping that some of that inconsistency is no longer an issue if he's allowed to be a 3 tech, because that's the body type that he has. He possesses a body type, but he'll eat glass though. He'll eat some glass there playing the 0-1, even though he's undersized, as Dana mentions. Let's see here. Are we staying here at Dante Corleone? Are we staying? Give me do you have a comp for Corleone? You're muted, Drew.
I don't, bro. And I don't because I don't know anybody that does what he did, that moves in the way he moves I don't, bro. Let me just keep it simple. I don't, bro.
Okay.
I don't.
All right. Our next interior defensive lineman here is Walter Nolan. And of course, you see him in the Texas A&M guard. That's where he started his career. He's now transferred to Ole Miss. Figures to be a key figure on that defense as he remains in the SEC, but certainly Ole Miss expected to be a contender this year. What are your thoughts on him, Drew?
Yeah, Walter Nolan. I kept going to my Texas A&M notes. Like, where's this guy at, bro? Like, where did he go? And I was like,
it's an interesting one to see.
He slid over to, like you said, Ole Miss here, and let me see what I got for him here. Walter Nolan. I got here, man. A wall who can't be moved. Has heavy hands, played a ton of nose tackle at A&M. So you kind of wonder what they're going to do with him at Ole Miss. They got Princely over there as well. They kind of, as Drew said, was building a stick over there at Ole Miss with all the transfers they got, especially on that defensive side of the football. So you just kind of wonder what the plan is for him. I got here he's different to his ability to convert his speed to power in small space, causing penetration and disruption. He is consistently surprising the offensive lineman, kept him off balance. With that, he does have a plan. Comes with some pace and variation, throws off the offensive lineman in terms of what's coming next. Again, got here how would it be used at Ole Miss in terms of his pass rush game. I don't know that he has a ton of that because at Texas A&M, his job was to kind of anchor down the middle, hold that down. And again, one of those guys who, took on the double teams, normally could stand up to double teams with no issue. He wasn't being moved at all. Didn't matter who the offensive lineman was. If you were able to move him, it was maybe by a couple of steps. Maybe you got that first contact, but he's able to kind of readjust and settle down, drop his anchor, if you will. When he has a chance to chase down a back or the quarterback, he does close out quickly. What else I got here for him? He's inside too much. He does a lot of when he doesn't get that, you want the defensive lineman to kind of make that first contact with their hands, get their punch out, if you will, and you want them to be able to extend their arms. And when he wasn't getting penetration or he was being stood up and kind of pushed back at those times, it was usually when he was kind of leaning into the offensive lineman, didn't really see his arms at all. It was just kind of his head leaning up against the offensive lineman's shoulder ahead. And it was where is this coming from? Who's teaching this? Right. And that's kind of, I want him to be more consistent in terms of using his arms, getting that extension and being able to keep the offensive lineman off of him so that, he can disengage and make the play if necessary. And then he also played some edge too. Him and Shamar Turner, those guys are kind of going in and out, but him in particular was a guy that he played, in the middle, but he used some edge, had some edge work, and I thought he was okay out on the edge, but his home's probably going to be in the center of that defense.
Yeah, Walter Nolan, he's a former 5-star guy, so ton of ability with him. Like you said, he transferred into Ole Miss. Last season, he played next to McKinley Jackson. The thing I like about Nolan, he leads with his hands. That's something I did see on tape with him, always leading with his hands. He could take on a block. He could shed that block. He could make a play in a run game. Very strong guy, play that peekaboo with you, hold up at the point of attack. And whichever way the running back goes, he's going to be there to make the tackle. So I do like him as a run defender. As a pass rusher, sometimes he has a good first step and motor, but to me, kind of like more straight line. He's not like one of those agile pass rushers. They'll play him on the end in an odd man front, like Drew said. He just kind of leans on you. He's kind of one of those guys that's nasty, greased up. He'll lean on you for 4 quarters on the interior, and it's just hard to deal with him for 60 minutes in the football game. Very stout power player, strong upper and lower body. So a lot of strength in his game. I like him as a run defender. As a pass rusher now, that's where he needs to take the next step. Because it depends on what game you watch too. Because I think he finished the season with like 4 sacks last year, but it just wasn't on every game, man. It's just a lot of inconsistency. He flashes, but kind of like the guy we spoke about before, Corleone, where you could flash, but you just got to be more consistent as a pass rusher. But as a run defender, man, I kind of like him a lot as a run defender. I think he could play the 5 tech. I think he could slide down inside and play the run in there as well. So. There's a lot to like about him, man. He's like somebody mentioned, he's only 20 years old. So the former 5-star guy, 20 years old. So he's oozing with talent. So he should put a big season this year for Ole Miss.
D-Kid said his comp is Darius Robinson for Nolan. What do you think about that particular comparison?
I don't think he's the athlete that Darius Robinson is. I get the comp in terms of his power and the violence he plays with, but I don't know that I like it.
Yeah, I think Robinson's a little more
polished
pass rusher. He gets after the pass a little bit. So I think that's what Nolan. If Nolan improves upon his pass rush, because he's just as good as Darius Robinson in the run game. I like both of them in the run game, but I think where Robinson separates himself is as a pass rusher.
All right. Number one, yes, he was big time recruit. That you know how Jimbo and company were doing the NIL thing before the NIL thing. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, a lot of schools were doing it, but that particular recruiting class, there were a couple of them that Texas A&M had. It just never materialized. It never turned into anything, right? And now you got quite a few guys having moved on the offensive side of the ball. When we talk about the receivers, I'm sure his name will come up. Evan Stewart, very talented player in his own right, no longer there. So A&M struggled to put it together. I've even seen fans kind of consider the move to the SEC in hindsight problematic, right? Had they stayed in the Big 12, where would they be as compared to, kind of being kind of middling team here in the SEC? So a lot of talent, but never really came together as a team. And as I mentioned, Walter Nolan is now with the Ole Miss Rebels. We keep it going here with the top interior defensive line prospect for the 2025 NFL Draft. Next up is former teammate Shamar Turner. I'll start with you, Headley. Obviously, we're looking at Drew's grades here, but what are your thoughts on Shamar Turner, Headley?
Yeah, I got him as one of those inside-outside players. But to me, this season he should get more work inside this season. They kind of use him, but you had them big boys inside, like you said, McKinley Jackson, Walter Nolan that we just spoke about. But to me, I think Turner should rush more from the inside. I think his motor runs really hot. He's always clawing and fighting. He's one of those guys that's going to be fighting, clawing, just doing whatever it takes to get to the ball carrier, the quarterback. He's very demonstrative as a pass rusher that gets his arms and feet going. Like you see him coming. Like he's wailing sometimes and flailing and getting to the quarterback. So you see that on tape a lot. Run game is where he shines. He throws his body around, ready for the physical parts of the game. I saw glimpses of bursts around the edge and flattening ability. He also flattened and came inside and got to the quarterback. So, he has that versatility to rush from the outside or the inside. He got a rip move that I really like, bending the edge. And then once he gets going, he can really move. He can really close. So he shows the athleticism and closing to the ball carrier as well. He's another greasy guy, tough to deal with. I just want him to see him get off the ball more consistently and add some more hand counters to his game. If he does that, I think his ceiling is high also. Drew graded him out as 7.0, day 2 prospect. Yeah, I think that's where he's probably going to end up after the season right here.
Yeah, I got here. I actually want to see him more off of the edge, but I understand that you like him on the inside, and there's a couple of reasons why. Like you said, he played all over the defensive line. Violent, strong, and I thought he was powerful at the point of attack. He doesn't give up a lot of ground. And I think sometimes he may look better when he has that running start. And as you said, he is one of those guys, if you're kind of watching other guys, he will show up. And not necessarily because he's making a play, but because he's kind of, you see a lot of movement from him, right? Like you said, yeah, you just see it, and it's hard to miss all of that. I don't know if, sometimes that works out and works in your favor, and sometimes that's a lot of wasted energy. And so I think from his end, that might be something that needs to be a little bit more refined, so he can conserve some energy and kind of tighten some things up because they may be making some wasted movements. But I got here 2023 year. His hands were quick and active. He looked like E Honda from Street Fighter. If you didn't play that, back in the day, Sega Genesis, that was me. And what else I got here for him? And I don't. He doesn't have a whole lot of production. Neither does Nolan. And I think it's just because they move those guys all around. But I actually prefer this guy on the edge. I want to see him a little bit more on the edge because of the burst and the closing speed that he has. But he's got to refine those things. But I don't know that we're going to see that either. Like, I think he's going to settle in right around day 2 guy because he's not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to get this guy in one spot so you can kind of see what he is entirely, unfortunately. Oh, yeah, Mr. PC Picasso, Sega. You know what it is. So, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, Street Fighter 2 is legendary, bro. Legendary stuff. And yes, when you got the long arm, the hand usage, the taijutsu going, it's very much E Honda up front. All right, let's keep it going here, man. Yes, Mr. Seapraski, I want to acknowledge your trade. I actually think it's a good trade for both teams, but great value. I mean, certainly Seattle gets the better end of it in terms of the value.
Mm-hmm.
Carolina trying to rebuild it, trying to piece it together. Next up, Drew, is Howard Cross. And this is a player that I think we thought may have came out last season. Ultimately, he returns to Notre Dame, or I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his class designation is. I thought he was draft eligible, if I'm not mistaken. You give him a 7.1. So the last few guys, all in the same area here in terms of day two. Turner and Howard Cross, we're thinking more along the lines of plug and play, right? You know, they could crack the starting lineup day one. Certainly, they're going to be heavily involved in terms of a rotation, whereas the previous guys, Walter Nolan, Corleone, Stackhouse, you're thinking, year one, by year two, year three is when they actually enter the starting lineup. So while there isn't a big disparity in terms of the raw grade, it does change the conversation once you cross that 7.0 threshold. So still day two prospects, but again, anticipating these guys making an impact sooner rather than later. Drew, what are your thoughts on Howard Cross?
Yeah, I think Cross for me, let me not go there, but I'm gonna say this. I think what you see is what you're going to get from him. I don't know that you're gonna see. I think he's hit his potential, his max potential, which is fine, because I'm gonna talk about a couple of the skill sets that he has. But I think what you see is what you get from him, because he has a great first step and hand tandem that give the offensive lineman troubles right as he's approaching and about to make contact with the offensive lineman. He's able to kind of keep them away from him and off of him, so that he can continue to penetrate and go for the ball carrier, whether that be the running back or the quarterback. Really good at starting on the outside shoulder of the offensive lineman and working across them a second or two later to penetrate or just kind of cross their face. And he can do the opposite going the other way too. Start on the inside shoulder, end up on the outside shoulder and beat them across their face because of that quick first step, good lateral movement, high energy and motor. He's not a guy that if he's running away from you and you're trying to reach him as an offensive lineman, you're not going to get to him. It's too late. Will chase things down on the back end. Does have a nice rush package in terms of his pace and his variation. Everything doesn't look the same when it comes from him. Can get caught up on double teams at times. I want to see him, split those a little bit more often when he's caught. And then I worry about his strength just a little bit. Maybe get a little bit stronger. We'll see how that works out. And he played the 1 and the 3 technique for the Fighting Irish.
Yeah. So Howard Cross. This is a guy I saw last season. Like you said, Juice. Thought he probably would have came out last year. The tape. I love Howard Cross tape, man. He's one of the guys where the earlier guys we spoke about was like, okay, we need more pass rushing ability with those guys. I think Howard Cross is probably the best pass rusher that we've spoken about so far. His ability to play with great pad level on the inside, the movement ability. He has this lower body flexibility in his game and balance. You saw it in the last play against, I think it was the Duke, where he just the bend around the center. A big man in the middle, just bending around the center, showing his lean, his leverage. I think he had the game-winning strip sack in that game. So, man, this guy's a pass rusher, man. The things that he needs to improve upon now is he can't, though. It's his size. He's not the biggest of guys, not the strongest of guys. He can kind of get washed in the run game a little bit. So, to me, right now, he's one of those pass rushers that we need to get more stout and big in the run game. But he does have twitch. He has the ability to use his hands. You see the rip move through the blocks. He works his way to the backfield really well. He has that knack for shooting gaps, getting skinny, working well through contact, plus hands. So everything you love in a pass rusher, I think Howard Cross has it. They played him a lot over the center or guard, kind of shading the guard a little bit. I think in the next level, he'll probably be a 3-tech. He'll probably be a 3-tech at the next level. because of that jump from the snap. He can shoot the gaps. And then when he doesn't win quickly, it's kind of when I watched was it Braden Fisk for Florida State? Sometimes when they don't win quickly, they could get stuck on blocks. They could get washed in the run game. So it's just something that they got to work on where I got to have more strength at the point of contact, because if I don't win quickly, I'm probably a liability in the run game. But he does have that swim move. He shoots the gaps. And I love when he plays with that power sometimes to throw guys off of him. But like I said, you got to be more consistent with the power if you're going to be a 3-down player at the next level. But as a pass rusher, man, I think he has some of the best tape that I've seen in this interior defensive line class.
You take him over Braden Fisk?
No.
Wow, bro! I thought you were gonna say yes. Wow. Okay. Damn.
Braden Fisk got
what would make you think? What would make you think Hadley would select him over Braden?
I don't know. He was talking. He was giving him all his love, bro.
I like him. I like him a lot, bro. But like you said, he might have maxed out already, bro. Like, he's not this super athletic guy that's going to do the thing like Fisk did at the combine and do all that sparky stuff. He's not that, bro. So that's why I have Fisk as a higher ceiling than Cross. But I love Cross as a player, though.
All right.
Hey, man. Well, just, listen. When I can catch you, I'm gonna catch you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as I think you both mentioned there, based on the players that we've seen or discussed thus far, Cross is the most polished in terms of the pass rush. Is that predominantly why he gets the edge here among players we've discussed thus far, as his ranking in your eyes?
Yeah, because his technique is, it's nice, it's clean, it's consistent, and you can put him in a position to succeed. And the thing about not having the power, right, is obviously he can get stronger, but also he's 6'1", bro. Like he's got that natural leverage too over the offensive lineman. Doesn't always work out, right? But he does have that, right? So you can kind of you can, if he gets stronger, you know what I'm saying? Like, now we're talking about a different, we're talking about a completely, not completely different player, but we're talking about, a guy who can stay on the field, with more snaps, I should say. But we'll see.
We shall see. All right. Next up is Kenneth Grant. I don't know what happened to my grade there.
7.1
on me. Yeah, but it's a 7.1 here for Kenneth Grant.
I made sure to put him over. I made sure to put him first, bro. I'm glad you had him next, bro, because that's
he's the greater of the 7.1s in your mind.
Yes,
Andrew. Why is that?
Look at the size, bro. 6'3", 356. And we could talk about Cross in terms of his pass rush. Kenneth Grant, man, like, listen, I just need Michigan not to, I need Michigan not to do what South Carolina was doing with TJ Sanders and what Illinois was doing with my two guys. Or was it Illinois? With my two guys over there.
Yeah,
right?
Newton and Randolph. Randolph.
With the first step being a left or right versus just heading up the field,
man.
Bro. So much damage is done when he just gets up the field, bro. Let him shoot the gap. He didn't even got it, bro. He can shoot the gap. He can push and press and penetrate through the guy directly in front of him. Like, just let him go forward. But they have him doing this, and it's not like one step. He'll slide over like to the it's. I don't know, man. It kind of opens up that Michigan defense. It's very, very strange, man. But he has the requisite speed, burst. From the snap, he's already 6'3", 356. You don't normally see that. You almost never see that from guys that big. He's got the strength to hold up in the double teams. And I know what you asked me yesterday during the Patreon. I don't want to give it away. What did I say? I said a one technique. He could 1-3. He could probably play, in that interior anywhere. Play the nose if you need him to. That's probably not where I want him. Because I think I want him to eat, because his pass rush ability is damn good. Hands are always making contact with the offensive lineman before they ever really get a chance. But a lot of times he kind of takes himself out of the play when it comes to that left or right, and that's not necessarily his fault. That's what they're asking him to do, unfortunately. But we'll see. But I mean, he's a part of that lineage, a part of that Michigan offensive line. When you talk about Mason Graham, when you talk about your boy Jenkins from last year, like they're starting to consistently have guys come out. Who was it the year before? It was 2 years. It was the year before and the year before that.
Defensive line.
Excuse me. Mozzie Smith. Yes. Who was before? Was there somebody before Mozzie Smith? I think, if I'm not mistaken. I could be off.
Recently.
Yeah. Was anybody before him? Maybe,
I mean, they got guys like Rashawn Gary and stuff prior to him, but I think that's a little further.
That's a further back.
And we're talking about interior guys as well. So, yeah, I think Mozzie and Chris Jenkins really are the ones who got it started. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not overthinking it or omitting someone.
Yeah, man, this guy Kenneth Grant, I'm gonna keep a close eye on him this season.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more because he's oozing with talent. This is a guy that probably has the highest ceiling of any guys that we've spoken about so far. Just the size and his ability as a power player. I just want to see it more consistently. Like you talked about the guys in Michigan. I like Chris Jenkins over him. I like the other guy Mason Graham over him. And it's not because he's no good. It's just I just need to see more technique on a more consistent basis. Because to me right now, he's one of those power players. He could throw linemen to the floor. He's physical. He could bull rush right through guys. I think his feet needs a little more work. I'm not sure about his athleticism or how nimble he is with his feet. I think he needs to improve from a pass rushing standpoint. I think he can add more pass rushing moves to his game. Like oftentimes, I think he relies on that handover swim move. You see it over and over, the swim move with a Kenneth Grant. I just want him to add more pass rushing moves to his arsenal. And I didn't see him as a good lateral movement either. I don't know if I think his range is a little bit limited. So, it's a lot I want to see on Kenneth Grant. I'm not super high on him right now, but I do get it. I do get the potential that he has. He's coming in this season. He's going to be one of the guys next to Mason Graham. So, we'll see for Kenneth Grant, man, because at 6'3", 356, power, strength, all of that. Yeah, it's something that the ceiling is super high. He's one of those high upside guys on the interior. I just want to see more consistency with his game.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't subscribed to the Patreon, we actually did some film study on the Michigan-Ohio State game matchup that from last year, the 2023 matchup, and it was very frustrating, right? It was a meat and potatoes game. We spent a lot of time talking about the players in the trenches on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Obviously, both teams has a lot of talent. Of course, Ohio State has a ton of talent returning. Michael Hall's a beast. I forget exactly where he landed, but Michael Hall's a beast. Cleveland, perfect landing spot. I think we mocked into Cleveland a few times as well. So
he's dealing with some off the field issues right now, though.
That's true. That's true. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he can get that squared away and keep his head on straight. But it was very frustrating to see Kenneth Grant at his size, always moving laterally. Like he would start at a 1 and then he's outside the tackle, and it's not a stunt. It's not a TE stunt. It's just it was maddening in terms of why they felt the need in order to not allow this guy to get upfield, because on the rare occasion he was allowed to go forward, he seemingly always made the play. So Drew and I were debating, is this something that he's doing? Is it being coached this way? And Drew, I thought you brought up a great point. You think back in Illinois and our frustration with what they were doing with their players up front, namely Jazon Newton, and this two-gapping, movement laterally, not necessarily getting upfield. We spoke to Keith Randolph at the Senior Bowl, and he was frustrated, right? Of course, he's saying all the right things for the most part, but you could tell, and he kind of let us in a little bit behind the scenes and said, yeah, man, I'm looking forward to being able to attack, to get upfield, right? To be able to make a play moving forward. You know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully he gets the green light to actually do more attacking and getting downhill, as opposed to whatever the scheme was. I can't even call it games. I can't even call it games. You're consistently jumping out of the gap and the play is coming directly at you. Like it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. I'm not sure what the coaching is trying to do in order to take advantage of, I guess, something that they're seeing or what have you. It just seemed like there were instances where Travion Henderson should have been bottled up. No gain. He ends up getting 4 or 5 yards because Kenneth Grant vacated the gap that he initially lined up in. So definitely want to see, as you mentioned, it's just kind of a wait and see type of deal with Kenneth Grant because, again, there's no question about how talented he is. All right.
Oh, Juice, where would you have? Would you put him? Was there anybody you would put that we talked about already? Was there anybody you would put over him currently right now?
Grant? No, I wouldn't. I think he's a big time talent.
Yeah.
I think he's a big time talent. And like I said, when given the opportunity to just go straight forward, he's a monster. He's a monster. Mason Graham's certainly the more consistent player. Thing I love about Mason Graham, we're going to talk about him. Thing I love about him, he doesn't come off the field. He plays a lot of snaps. Kenneth Grant was, in the rotation. He was in the rotation. And again, when given the opportunity to just, be an attacking interior defensive lineman, he was really great. But so many times he would just stand right up and then jump over, a gap or two, and it just didn't make any sense. Just in terms of the movement skills at that size, the raw power, the quickness. There's a certain level of quickness there that you can't teach at that kind of size. I certainly have him about where you have him. It's certainly the best among the group we've discussed thus far.
Yeah. I would agree with that. That I can't rank anybody else that we spoke about higher than Grant just because of the ceiling, the upside, the potential that he has. I think Howard Cross has a better tape than him so far. Better technical, use his hands a little bit better. But man, what Grant could become, man, he could. You have him right here as a second round day 2 guy. He could be a first round guy if he puts it all together this season for Michigan.
Exactly. I anticipate this grade increasing, right? So this is a preliminary grade for the interior defensive lineman. In his case, for sure, I expect it to go up. I think he's going to come close to that 8.0 mark, which suggests first round or Pro Bowl upside. All right. Mr. Seabraski got a question for us. I want to take a little time to answer said question. We'll go around the horn here. What was it? Here you go. Right here. Boom. In the years since you started this channel, who is your favorite player you have covered before the draft? So my assumption here, just to kind of clarify the question, is as we're doing the evaluations year to year, who's been our favorite player prior to entering a draft?
Ooh, that's a lot of players, bro.
Bro, that is bro. You know, I ain't good at that, bro. As soon as the thing's over, I'm done.
I can tell you guys I love, man. In that Sauce Gardner, Kyle Hamilton class, those were my top 2 guys in that entire class. So I love their tape. I was big on Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, those running backs in that class. Who else, bro? Dorless was one of my favorites last year.
You'll make me pull up the draft.
Bro. Yeah, it's so many guys, bro.
I have to go back. I have to go back and pull up the draft. Take a look, man. I was a big fan of Lamar coming out.
Yeah, you a Lamar guy.
Big fan of Lamar Jackson. I just loved the progression that he demonstrated over the course of his career at Louisville. I thought that was impressive because as a freshman, I was like, yo, this is not a quarterback, bro. This is not a quarterback. And you still have people who question his ability to consistently beat you from the pocket, man. But I think Lamar has struggled with poor receivers, bad play calling, as well as just some inconsistency along the offensive line. He's had some injuries. Ronnie Stanley is not the same player that he was a few seasons ago. And as a result, I think Lamar has developed some bad habits. Now, the only question I have for Lamar, though, because I think he's does everything necessary in order to win from the pocket consistently, is those big games, man. Those single elimination games, man. I need to see the MVP. I've yet to see the MVP in those single elimination games. But yes, just in terms of evaluating players at the collegiate level prior to them entering the draft, I think Lamar is one that stands out to me. Who else?
I got another guy. You got one?
Yeah, I got one. Cooper Kupp, bro.
Cooper.
I'm gonna take another one. Puka Nacua, bro.
Puka.
Yeah. Especially Puka.
I
Yeah.
remember Cooper Cup, man. I remember we was at Top Golf, bro, and I was like, bro, you see this guy yet? This Cooper Cup guy, bro. I had to show you the phone, bro. I was like, Cooper Cup has some game to him, man. But speaking of receivers, Debo Samuel, bro. I was big on set Debo going into that draft as well. He's one of my favorite prospects. I graded.
And your boy for the Texans, we saw him at the Senior Bowl.
Tank Dell?
Yes, bro. Yes. After the Senior Bowl?
Yeah,
Might have been after the first day, bro. It was like, yeah, that's yep. He the real deal, bro.
This may be considered low-hanging fruit, man, but bro, sexiest offensive line tape I've ever seen is Quentin Nelson, bro.
Quentin Nelson, oh yeah.
Bro. The sexiest.
He was a number one prospect in that
yes.
class, right?
Yeah, he was. Yep.
Oh yeah. Neighbors is recent though. Neighbors is recent. That's my guy. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? They want to act like that ain't my guy. Drew wanna co-op and everything, but you know,
you got co-op.
I saw it coming. I saw it coming, bro. I saw it coming, man. D-Kid obviously a Penix guy. Who knows, D-Kid? Who knows, man? You know.
Yes, a lot of guys.
He might end up in New York at some point. Who knows?
He's not. He's not. ATL, bro.
He locked in ATL,
locked in, man. Yeah. George Kittle. I love George Kittle too. Coming out, he was one of my guys from Iowa.
You were the first person I ever heard say the name George Kittle, bro. You were the first person. This was before he nailed the combine, right? I think that's when he kind of took off, and even still, he went in the 4th round. Right, they just. But you were early on George Kittle for sure.
They put Chase Claypool on you, Drew.
I mean, I like this game. No, he wasn't my guy. If you said, hey, did you like this game coming out of college? I said, yeah. But he wasn't up there like that. That boy a head case, bro.
I used to love speaking of wide receivers from that school, Will Fuller, right? I used to love Will Fuller, bro, in college, Notre Dame. Claypool went to Notre Dame too, right?
Yeah. He did.
I was big on Will Fuller.
Injuries got him. Let me think about some busts that I was high on.
I can name one.
Who's that?
I'm thinking about a wide receiver. Your boy John Ross.
John Ross.
We both on John Ross.
Yeah, that was y'all number one.
Yeah, that was my guy, bro. I love Zoom, bro. I know Mississippi Pressy was a John Ross guy, man. I love Zoom, man.
He was up there. He wasn't my one,
yeah,
but he was up there.
Marvin Lewis, he destroyed the man's confidence, bro, out the gate. He destroyed his confidence. He never could find, and then of course the injuries. He just couldn't stay healthy. So yeah, that was a big one. But I love John Ross, bro.
Oh, you knew Drew loved Tony, bro. Any gator that come out, Drew
any
love
gator,
him.
any gator.
First of all, he was not my number one guy. I know he got stone hands, and I know he could be a head case. But I did like me some Tony, man. No Diddy.
Drew, you are also very high on Corey Davis. You were also very high
was your wide receiver one.
Corey Davis.
Let's talk about that class. Your wide receiver.
Yeah,
Corey
Mike
Davis.
Williams.
Mine was
I was John Russ, and I had John Ross. Yeah.
Damn, bro.
They all went top 10.
Yeah. Man, if Zoom could have just stayed healthy, man.
None of them lived up to it all the way.
None of them.
Even Mike Williams haven't really lived
up. Mike has struggled with injuries. Mike has struggled with injuries. That's been the thing. He struggled with injuries. When he's healthy, he's a difference maker. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see. We'll see what happens this year with him. He's on a kind of a 1-year prove-it deal with the Jets. Think about the defensive side of the ball.
Corners.
I remember a guy that you were really high on. He's actually retiring now. Hell, you were very high on Randy Gregory.
Oh yeah, I love Randy. Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
I'm a mess, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a mess.
They can't get right. Can't get right,
bro.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get
Big
right.
on Gregory.
It's gotta be a
Go ahead,
safety
bro.
out there.
Go ahead, say it, bro, so we can get it off your chest,
What's that?
bro.
What's that? Aaron Donald? Aaron Donald?
No.
Now
we talking about Bus, bro.
Oh, Bus.
Yeah. This Bus might still be playing though.
On the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah.
Who I got?
Just think about my college team and my pro team, bro.
A Gator Bucks.
Vernon Hargraves, bro.
Yeah, bro. Jesus.
Oh man, that's his cornerback one over Ramsey. You had him over Ramsey.
It was.
I remember
It
that.
was.
Well,
It was.
listen, I had Mac
Oh, yeah.
Alexander. I had Mac
Okay, you
Alexander.
did.
Oh yeah, Kenny
so,
Catch.
Yeah, Kenny Catch.
Kenny Catch, bro.
I had Ramsey as a safety. I thought he was phenomenal as a safety. I mean, obviously he's all pro at a corner, man. But
They
I
was
thought
hating
Ramsey
on him, D-Kid. They was hating on D-Kid. Ramsey. They was hating on Ramsey, D-Kid, bro. I remember that, bro. Vernon Hargraves, Mac Alexander, bro. That's Jalen Ramsey. Come on.
I just saw I really for my own selfish purposes, I wanted Jalen Ramsey to play safety. I thought I thought he had a different mentality. He turned into a corner, bro. He turned into one of those corners, one of those guys, bro. You know what I'm saying? When he was playing safety, he had a different kind of dog about him, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then he became a corner and started yapping, although he balled. I mean, obviously he turned into one of he was the best corner in the league at one point. So it was the right move. It was the right move.
I got two defensive guys, DB, same school, same class, bro. Malik Hooker and Marshawn Lattimore. Boy.
Yeah. Lattimore for sure. Yeah.
Both of them, bro.
Hey, Lattimore don't get the respect he deserves. When he's right, bro. When Lattimore is right, bro.
He's that guy, bro. He can be a guy.
Obviously, you know, he has his heavyweight bouts with Mike Evans, but when he's right, he's different. I tried to warn y'all. Well, I didn't warn y'all about Malik Hooker. I was very much against the comps to Ed Reed, bro.
Yeah.
I just y'all did him a disservice and you disrespected the Hall of Famer.
Well, first of all, the man's been hurt, bro. Like, what you mean?
Yeah, he been coming along recently with the Cowboys. Malik, you talking Malik Hooker?
Yeah, Malik Hooker. But when he first came in, it was injury after injury after injury, and then
I don't care, bro. I'm not knocking Malik Hooker in terms of his play. I just thought it was just sheer disrespect comparing him to Ed Reed.
It was the range.
Don't do it. Okay. You can say he got good range. He's got good range.
Don't put him in range. You're gonna say Ed Reed. That's Ed Reed, bro. He's the
Earl Thomas and Ed Reed, bro.
He's the standard.
He is the standard.
Compare him to Earl Thomas, bro. Don't compare him to Ed Reed, bro. Stop it.
I remember Drew. You was on Jamal Adams over that. I remember that was a debate. I had Hooker. You had
that was an SEC. Well, you know what? Yeah. I'll take that back. Jamal Adams was a monster at first.
He was.
And then I don't know what happened. The bottom fell out.
Can't cover.
Can't cover. He got exposed.
Well, when he came, his first 2 years, I thought he actually played very well.
No, he played well. He played well with New York. He played well with New York.
And when they rush him off the edge, man, he can get after the quarterback, come downhill.
I think he fell in love with that part of the game, bro.
I think so. He kind of turned into that guy, realizing he forgot he was playing safety, bro.
Let me go back. Let me think. I think about a corner that I was other than Mac Alexander.
Andrew Booth.
You know what? I was very high on Trey Waynes. Trey Waynes. He didn't necessarily live up to the billing. But it's hard, Mr. C. Prasky, to say, who was the favorite top guy because there's been so many players.
So many.
What
about your boy? I think he retired. Mike Hughes.
Yeah,
UCF.
He's still around. He's still around. Yeah.
No, he might be starting for the Falcons, bro. He might start. We need that quarterback too.
I mean, he's serviceable. He's become a serviceable player. Oh yeah,
he got injured, dude.
I try to tell these boys, kid. I try to tell these boys, man.
Bro. First of all,
I love PS2 coming out. You can. I love PS2 coming out. I thought he was the best technical corner in that class.
Nah, man. You had J.C. Horn. And Drew had Caleb Farley. And he had Caleb Farley, bro.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Bro, every guy I picked, for the exception of Vernon Hargraves, got injuries, bro. I can't help. And I always put the disclaimer out there. If I'm not mistaken, I think Caleb Farley was injured in college as well. I always put the disclaimer on him, tag him with the disclaimer, just in case. Injuries, bro. You know what I'm saying? Walking around with the Band-Aid on him. You know
we've been around for a while, Mr. C. Prasky. I think we went, our first year was beginning of 2016, man.
Yeah,
2016, 8 years.
Yeah, we're a little over 8 years deep at this point.
If you want to talk about that class, that running back class, was it 2017 running back class? Dalvin Cook, RB1.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Bro, I love me a
Yeah.
Kamara. Kamara's one of my favorite prospects that I've watched.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hadley was very high on Kamara.
You had Joe Mixon in that class. You had McCaffrey.
Hey,
I wasn't.
everybody, bro.
I wasn't. I had Dalvin and I think Kamara over McCaffrey. So
You
that
did.
might have been
Yeah,
a miss. That might have been a miss for me right
Yeah.
there. But I just loved Kamara and Dalvin.
Mm-hmm. That class. I mean, we've talked about it, recently about how good the 2017 running back class was. Because you still got guys like Aaron Jones in that class, Dante Foreman. In terms of being just a pure ball carrier, Dante Foreman is one of the better backs in the league, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I was really high on him coming out, gotten himself into some trouble, but talented ball carrier, bro. Every time he gets an opportunity, he makes things happen. Who else was in that class? C. Presley's guy was in that class. Chris Carson. Chris Carson was in that class.
That was the other guy.
Jamal Williams, I think.
Jamal Williams was in that class. So, yeah, even when you get past the Dalvins, the McCaffreys, Leonard Fournettes of the world, you had a lot of good guys still around the league.
Fournette was the first back drafted in that class, right?
Yeah,
he was. Yeah, he was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a man child, bro. He was a man child, bro. But Fournette didn't have the niceness about him, bro. He didn't have the natural ability, bro. He was just a freak, bro. You know what I'm saying? He was a bit of a locomotive.
DK, you talking about Dwayne Haskins?
Yeah. That was a Daniel Jones class? What was that?
I think we did. DK. We had Haskins over Daniel Jones. We had Kyler as the top quarterback in that class, and then we thought Haskins might end up in New York. Unfortunately, Haskins passed away. But yeah, in that particular class, we had Haskins over Daniel Jones. Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate Daniel Jones either. I thought he had
he was okay
stuff about him.
Yeah. He had something about him.
The evaluation. But I think he was clearly behind Murray and Haskins for us collectively.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think he was QB3.
Yeah. P.S. I'm trying to think about corners prior to that. Other guys. What about second level defenders?
Linebackers. That's the one I'm gonna struggle with big time.
I was a fan of Kenneth Murray.
Yeah.
I was a fan of Micah, but now he's an edge rusher.
Yeah.
JOK.
JOK was one of my favorite.
Level.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I was late to the party on Micah. Had I known Micah was going to be allowed to rush the passer like that, I would have had a different perspective on him.
He's who they thought Jalen what's his name? 54. Jalen Smith was 54.
I tried to warn Dallas fans, bro. I tried to warn them.
When they drafted who drafted Miles Jack? It was Miles Jack that we liked over here.
Jacksonville. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville had the draft that I wanted the Cowboys to have that year.
They had Ramsey.
Yep.
Miles Jack.
I would have taken. I mean, Bosa was already off the board. Joey Bosa was already off the board, but I would have taken Ramsey. I would have took DeForest Buckner. I would have took both of them over Ezekiel Elliott, bro. There was no way I was in a class with Derrick Henry in it, bro. There was no way, bro. I was taking Ezekiel Elliott in the top 5, bro. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you guys know I felt very strongly about that, bro. Is there a player that you just felt like had no business being drafted where he was being drafted at the time, right? I think that the guy that comes to mind immediately for me is Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
That's the guy that comes to mind for me is Mahomes. Like we
all miss that.
We couldn't fathom correcting it, bro. But when you look back on it, hindsight 2020, you got to give him a lot of credit for his dogged mentality, right? I think this is the type of competitor that he was going to create a certain level of success. But he went to the perfect environment, and the guy that he credits, as well as Andy Reid recently crediting just getting Mahomes to that level as quickly as he did, really steer him in the right direction, learn how to prepare, was Alex Smith, bro. Both Mahomes and Andy Reid give Alex Smith like all the credit in terms of getting him ready to play. And then now, obviously, his natural talent, which we all recognize, that was never the question, is taken over. And now he's understanding and reading defenses. He's cleaned up some of his mechanics. But yeah, that was a big miss of ours. That was a big miss. We couldn't fathom it. I think as I was charting the quarterbacks, I thought to myself that was one of the two maybe landing spots that he could potentially have success. You know what I mean? And the Chiefs, they were rewarded for their conviction, right? They gave up a future first rounder to move up, and they got their guy.
Yeah, I got a good one here, man.
Oh,
I got one too.
Drew had Justin Jefferson very high.
Oh, yeah.
I had CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was receiver 1 in that class for me.
Yeah, for me, I had CeeDee Lamb number 1 too. I got one, Drew. Hey, I'm gonna get you right here, Drew. I got one right here for us, bro. Remember the debate, the Jared Goff, Carson Wentz debate?
Ooh.
Nah, I don't remember it, but I kind of remember it.
Yeah, me and Juice was on Goff, and
yeah,
you were winning that first because Wentz came out better than Goff, but then Goff's still playing, still doing his thing, and Wentz.
Well, hold on. Well, let me put my disclaimer on it now. The problem, what has Wentz's problem always been, bro?
Doing too much,
bro. Doing too much, yeah.
Don't know your limitations, bro. If he could just learn his limitations, be just fine, bro. But he think he's Superman out there, so you get Superman treatment. You know what I'm saying? You don't get the regular bad guys running around and stopping those guys. You get the super villains because you want to be a superhero, bro. So you get that treatment,
man.
bro.
That's funny.
You know what I'm saying? How about Taco Charlton, bro?
Ooh, Taco.
Yeah. I like Taco. You know what happened with Taco, right? I watched the games where he balled out, bro. I didn't watch the tape back then, bro. I ain't watched like 7-8 games. I watched like 2-3 his games and he balled out. And I was like, all right, that's my guy, bro. But yeah, man, I learned my lesson with Taco, bro. You got to watch the bad games and the good games when you watching it. And don't watch just highlights either, bro. Like,
no highlights to get you, bro.
Yeah, it will get you, bro.
Everybody got highlights, bro.
Everybody got highlights. Everybody got highlights. The kid's asking, were we high on Herbert? I
think Drew was higher on Herbert.
I think Drew was highest. Drew was highest on Herbert. Herbert. I think my hesitation with Justin Herbert was the offense that he was in. I don't think, and it's worth pointing out, saying Mario Cristobal, like it didn't showcase what he was capable of doing. And I think I brought him back to the pack a little bit because of that. Yeah. That's how I came out on Herbert.
I remember
Tua, I just wasn't sure about Tua. I wasn't sure.
Tua, yeah, that the arm strength kind of bothered me with Tua. Like the
injury, not being able to break his fall, like it's just like, can he protect himself? And yeah. Plus he had all them ballers at receiver, bro, to do the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell he was accurate, bro. First read accuracy was certainly there, but yeah, man, it was one of those things like, okay, what happens when he goes to a team that's picking in the top 5 and they don't have talent around him? Now, Miami's did a good job of rehabilitating him, getting the new coach in there, getting the weapons in there, so you can see what he's capable of doing and being a distributor. But yeah, that was always the question mark in terms of Tua.
I got 2 here. I got LJ Collier, went to Seattle at 29, and then right after that, DeAndre Baker, bro. What happened?
Ooh, that was my guy. What happened to
him? That man in jail.
You robbed somebody?
Yeah.
Hey, man. What happened, bro? What's the story, bro? I see that never said, oh, man. Is he in the league? Is he in the league?
Man. The Chiefs tried to give him a chance recently, but I don't know how that panned out. You see, I don't know. I don't think he's on the team.
He had a cup of coffee. He had a cup of coffee with them.
Cup of coffee, cup of tea.
Yeah. It didn't last long.
I think wasn't he like robbing jewelry or something?
Yeah,
something stupid, bro.
It was something dumb, bro. He went to somebody's house.
Mississippi Presti's mentioning Bobby Wagner from Utah State. I was too low on Dre Greenlaw and your boy, the Mike. His name's escaping me. It's disrespectful.
What team you play for?
The Niners. I don't.
My boy, 54. Yeah, I got a brain freeze too.
Yeah. Why am
Oh my God, Fred, something, Fred.
Fred Warner.
Fred Warner.
Goodness.
God, no.
Oh my goodness.
Terrible, bro.
Disrespectful. No, but those two have turned into incredible football players.
Malik McDowell. I remember liking him a lot too.
Yeah, and that name immediately reminds me of Robert Kindici. I tried to tell y'all
that was Drew's guy.
about Kindici.
No, but what did I say though? Once he started talking about that Tiger stuff, I said, yeah, we gotta. Nope, nah, bro. I'm out of here, bro. Take me out of that. Terrible, bro. Like, nope. Ludicrous.
Clowney. Yeah, Clowney can't miss. Okuda.
I like Okuda a lot.
It's always, I didn't love Okuda, bro. I remember him when he came. I didn't love him, bro. I thought something was missing with him.
I don't think he was ever. I don't think he was my number one.
You know why? I think we all considered him the top corner in that class, but
did we?
I don't think we were the biggest fans of his because he wasn't Lattimore. You know what I'm saying? Like that was kind of the measuring stick among those Ohio State corners of the modern era. Obviously, you can go back further, but of the modern group here, the guys that are playing now, we were higher on Jair Alexander than Denzel Ward. Obviously,
yeah, we wasn't big on Ward. But Ward's doing his thing though.
I mean, Ward was the second ranked corner. He was the second ranked corner. We just had Alexander over him. We just had Alexander over him, and when Alexander's healthy, he's a baller in his own right. So I don't feel no way about that.
Nah, chill. But terrible, bro. Hey man, at least he ain't out here doing the DeAndre Baker.
I think I saw Jake do a video on him because he's in Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think they're playing him at safety.
Okay, that's a good move.
Jake did a video, so I got to check that video out. See about it. All right, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Going down memory lane there in terms of the draft. We could have a whole series. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Talking about that. Let's jump back in here with these interior defensive linemen. Next up, you have TJ Sanders, Drew, coming in with the 7.4.
Yeah, real quick, one last one. Clyde Edwards-Helaire laid down.
I love the CEH coming out. That the pass catching upside going to the Chiefs, you thought that was like a can't miss situation, and it just hasn't panned out. Yeah, Taylor was still.
Go ahead and put me into Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, that was my RB1. RB1 was Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor, bro.
There
was no way I was taking CEH over Jonathan Taylor, bro. No way, bro.
You know the problem with CEH is there's always someone faster. There's always someone just more sparky than him. And as soon as that guy walks through the door, it's over, bro. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And especially playing for the team he was playing for in terms of the Chiefs. So, all right. TJ Sanders. Just had his notes up and I pulled him down. Nope. Don't want him from there. I want him from there. Yeah, man. You got him at 6'5", 275. I got him at 6'4", 290. Either way, don't matter. He's the same player. Can win in a phone booth.
Super high various guys, bro.
Not me. I was.
Damn, that's a bad one. Ooh, that's a bad one. Ooh.
So who was the guy? Who else was in that class? Was that Chubb class? Was that the Chubb class? Michelle Chubb?
Might be.
I think that was Sonny Michelle and Chubb in that class.
I had Chubb 2, but I had somebody 1. Somebody I had hired as Chubb
1 in that class.
Yeah, somebody hired.
Yeah. Check that before we get into the TJ Sanders conversation. Check that.
Was that 2018, 2000? What was that? 2018?
I think it was 18. I think that was 18, bro.
All right.
Yeah, I wasn't high on guys. I was high on Ronald Jones. I remember being high on Ronald Jones. He was 3 for me. I think Dice was like
Saquon. Saquon was 1. There you go, DK.
Saquon was 1. Yep.
Yeah.
Saquon was 1. Yeah. Then I had Chubb 2. Then I had Jones 3. And then Geis and Sonny Michelle, I wasn't really big on those guys. I don't know if I had them 4 or 5.
Drew loved him with Sonny Michelle, bro.
I did.
Love Sonny Michelle. I still remember a comment we got. Somebody was comparing Sonny Michelle to LaDainian Tomlinson. I'm like, wait, what? What?
Boy's trying to give him his love, bro. What you mean?
Yeah. If that's your guy, that's your guy. But LaDainian Tomlinson, bro? No, come on. Oh, speaking of Georgia running backs, Todd Gurley, bro.
That's the guy, bro.
You couldn't tell me nothing about Todd Gurley, bro. Couldn't tell me nothing, bro. Love Todd Gurley. Still hurting that his career was ended short, bro. All right,
Rashad Penny, bro. Rashad Penny.
That was Headley's guy.
Yeah,
Rashad Penny.
That was him.
They're gonna Penny.
Yeah, he went at the bottom of the second. And Geis went actually middle of the second with 20.
Yeah, guys, there was concerns about him, man. There was concerns about, and for good reason.
Good reason.
And for good reason.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Get back to it. Let me get the notes. TJ Sanders. It's a guy who can win in a phone booth with both his feet and his body movements. He can olay guys. He can play Casper the Friendly Ghost in terms of, keeping offensive linemen from touching him. Has a quick first step. As we talked about earlier, he's on a team for whatever reason they like to go left and right before they like to go south. Has the ability to convert his quickness to power, jolting the offensive lineman at the point of attack. Looks most comfortable in the interior, but played some edge and looked less effective out there. But that's, you got to do what you got to do in terms of what they're asking you for. Strong at the point of attack, stout like a wall at times, can hold up and move from side to side when defending the run. As Headley would say, play that peekaboo, being able to disengage and make the tackle. And he made a lot of tackles while being blocked. And that's something that I give plus credit for because not everybody can do that. What else? And if you're going to, I got here, if you're going to give him that straight line, and you need to cross his face or you need to cross him to get to him to reach him, it's night because he is a prototypical 3 technique, but because of his power and his size, he can do more in terms of the defensive front.
Yeah, TJ Sanders, man, I love his tape. He jumped off the screen for me at that D line. I think he's a 3 tech through in and throughout, man. His burst, his athleticism, change of direction ability. Love how he uses his hands with physicality and force. He keeps that offensive line away from his body. Very disruptive. One gap into the backfield. And once he gets to the backfield, he's one of those guys that could close, to the quarterback, to the running back, and close to the edge, to the sideline. So a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed to go with that power as well. They did use him sometimes to move horizontally. He made a play in the passing game I saw one time, got his hands up and batted down the pass. But he's a guy you want one gap in, getting at the quarterback, going full head of steam going that way. He's the type of interior player that, that could also play the edge a little bit also. But like Drew said, I like him more as an interior guy. You got to keep him inside. He could bull rush right through you. He could bend around you. He just had a lot of different arsenal of moves that he could go to. The one thing I want to see him improve, though, is leverage against the run games. It was a game against Missouri where the whole team got gashed. But, I thought TJ Sanders was like, okay, you shouldn't be getting gashed also because of your strength, your athleticism. But, the lower body strength, I think, improve a little bit with him and the leverage to hold up more in that run game. But other than that, man, his pass rushing upside is immense. To me, he's the best pass rusher we probably spoke about so far, man. I really like this guy a lot.
Yeah, D-Kid, thank you for catching that. Yeah, we're going to move that versatility up to a 6, so that moves his grade to a 7.5.
D-Kid's on it because I was going to push back on that one, Drew.
Were you?
I was going to push back on that one. Yeah. That's too low for TJ Sanders. Yeah, we prefer him in the interior, but it's so much you can do with him. You can deploy him in so many different ways. That was the one thing I was going to push back on here on the TJ Sanders evaluation. So good on you, D-Kid. With respect to that, Dana does a deep dive, right? Dana does the deep dive. She gets all those guys, and we've talked about it. We talked about it when we were doing our summer scouting, and you're talking about South Carolina. We talked about some of those other guys, including Tonka Hemingway. What are your thoughts on Hemingway?
I got here uses his feet to set up his hands, gets the offensive lineman to commit one way, and clears them with his hands going the other way. Nice, quick, clean, efficient in terms of those hand uses. Slow rolls, the twists and stunts, so he understands what he needs to do up there. And I got here. He's a mix between actually Sanders and Huntley. So he's got that. He has a potential to be versatile. Has some power, but also has a little bit of speed. So he's kind of the in between guy, the tweener between those guys. Because Huntley's the more of the power player, wall stout guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Boogie Huntley, man. Yeah, I think Tonka is one of those scheme, alignment, versatile players. I think he could one gap, two gap. I think he play inside, outside. So I think he's going to be one of those guys on your defensive line as part of the rotation. You know, I don't see him as an everyday starter day in and day out, but you know, you could sub him in some sub packages. He could get after the quarterback, and he played 48 games across 4 seasons. Man, he played snaps as a freshman, so has a lot of experience there. Holds up well at the point of attack. You know, he kind of does it all, bro. Like he could rush the passer, he could play the run. He's just not. He's one of those guys where he's jack of all trades, maybe master of none right now. So yeah, But I like him though. I like him as a. You know, I think he might be a day 3 guy, but I think he'd be a valuable asset along somebody's defensive line.
And not familiar with Nick Barnett, but we can put him on the docket.
Yeah, we got to do our homework. Dana's ahead of us there. Like I said, Dana is not superficial with your evaluation. No one in our core audience is superficial when it comes to their evaluation. So we always appreciate you guys bringing additional prospects to our attention. Let's see here. Next up is Cam Jackson, Big Cam, out of UF. I thoroughly enjoyed the tape, Drew, and you gave him a substantial grade here. What are your thoughts on Cam Jackson?
Yeah, bro, I don't even got notes for him, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with you, bro. Just, you know, because he's a Gator. I don't need notes for the Gators. Now let me stop.
It's a biased grade right here.
I mean,
biased grade.
You know,
the Gator grade.
No. There's bias in it. There's bias in it. Yeah, but I'll allow it. I like Cam Jackson. I'll allow it.
So when he wasn't in there to play the run, them boys, it was marshmallowy. They was soft, and it was a problem for the Gators. When he was in there, bro, didn't matter if it was going left, right, center. He seemed to be around the football, be able to make the play. His ability to just kind of stand up and take on any and all blockers, you know, tackles, guards, double teams, and really give no ground was. I was pleasantly surprised when I was watching the tape going against FSU. Just holding them boys up, you know what I mean? Now I will say this, and Juicy had talked about it earlier, and we talked about it during the Patreon that we did. In terms of him coming in and out of the game, right? I know he didn't play all the games this season. I think he played about maybe 7 or 8 games. So I'm assuming there was injury there. So I'm wondering if they're I mean, it was one of the last games of the season. So when I was watching him going against Florida State, so maybe he was coming off of injury, or they wanted to keep him fresh, or whatever it was. But I think we're gonna have to start holding guys accountable a little bit more for not playing enough snaps, bro. When you got guys like Mason Graham and the number 1 guy we're gonna talk about here shortly, we're playing just a ton of snaps, man. And again, if he's injured, that's one thing. But if it's, I guess I don't know. Can we hold it against him if he don't play a bunch of snaps because they want to run their rotation? But this guy is like, it was an eyesore when you took him out, man. Like it didn't make sense. And then I want to know more in terms of his pass rushing ability. Just, you know, it looked like they may have taken him out on 3rd downs when it was predictable for teams to pass the football, or if that was just they wanted to get their best guys on the field and they don't necessarily thought he was that guy. But that's something that's probably the number 1 thing that I want to see from him in terms of his pass rush, because in terms of a run defender, he might be. Oh, let me before I say it, because y'all gonna crucify me if I say it. Yeah, he has potential to be top 3 run defender in this class, bro. And if I can just see the pass, I believe he's got pass rush, bro. I got to see it, bro.
Yeah, I got him as a nose tackle, big boy nose tackle. I don't see the pass rush upside. He could push the lineman back into the quarterback lap and affect the pass that way. So you see that with that raw strength he has. I see that raw strength is all the way filled up over there, Drew. So yeah, he has that raw strength. He can stuff the running lane, physical player, and he's nasty, bro. Like when he gets his hands on guys, he's trying to eviscerate those guys. He's trying to throw them through the ground. So I love that mindset. I love that physicality that he plays with. I just don't see him this high, 7.5 grade, because of that pass rushing upside he doesn't have. I don't see that pass rushing upside with him. He's one of those run stuffing guys, early down players, short yardage guys, and those guys are valuable. Don't get me wrong, but it's some other guys that T.J. Sanders should be ahead of him, no doubt. But I get it. I get the Gator bias, Drew. I get it. You're on mute. You're on mute, Drew.
Got to defend myself. They got the same grade, bro. 7.5, man. Just, you feel me?
Yeah.
And the Gator got to go ahead. Got to be ahead. You know what I'm saying?
You can't see the value there, but Drew give him a full 10 in terms of the anchor and raw strength. And I'm not gonna fuss with you about it, because that is what he's about. He's a power player, and he's a handful in the middle of your defense, right? Again, you want to question his ability to affect the passer. Certainly, that's a reasonable question mark to consider. D-Kit, yeah, I agree. Jackson, because of the limitations from a pass rush perspective. I would say
the tape.
But
Mark
the tape, bro. We're coming back to this, bro. Mark the tape, bro.
Yeah. What are we barking? What part of the tape are we barking?
He's not a day 3 guy.
He's a day 2 guy. That's what Drew's saying.
Okay. All right.
Easily.
I think his ability, you know what I'm saying, on early downs, first down, second down, and his hustle, I think is day 2 talent. I just don't know that NFL teams are going to value him in that manner. That's the question. That's my question. Right?
Okay.
Said, are you stamping him, though? Are you stamping him?
Bro, you gotta
I haven't stamped anybody. No,
Are you stamping him?
No, I'm not stamping my own team, bro. I don't need nobody talking about you Gators and wearing your blue and orange colored glasses. Nah, I don't stamp my Gators, man. They are what they are. You feel me? But yeah, now if he shows you pass rush moves, where does he lie? You know what I'm saying? How many sacks does he need this season for y'all to get him get off the day 3 train?
You know where I put him? If he shows pass rushing ability, I put him where I had T'Vondre Sweat. That's where I would see him.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that. I'm okay with that.
Drew, how do you respond? How do you respond?
You inflated his movement grades. I mean, hey man, go watch the tape.
Go watch the tape.
Oh man. All right, I'm having some technical difficulties as we try to move on in our conversation, so bear with me. Bear with me. Again, we're building it as we fly it. There's a few more prospects to get to here among the interior defensive linemen. So Drew, who are you stamping? Since you refuse to stamp the guys that you're inflating in terms of the rankings, the Gators, who gets a stamp from you?
I don't think I got any stamps right now. Now that y'all say that,
we'll stamp a few guys, man. Penn State safety, bro. Stamp them.
You call Winston?
Yeah, Penn State safety.
Oh man.
Let me just look at my list of players here, man.
Closing speed 7 to the buffet table. Yeah, you inflated some numbers, bro. You wanted that grade high.
Why y'all hating, bro? Don't hate, man. I'm gonna have to probably do some work, man, to stamp some guys, because I don't just be handing them out like candy, bro.
I hand them out, bro. I'm gonna let people know, bro.
You only get 10, bro. You only get 10. I'm gonna find those diamonds in the rough, bro. Because when I say I stamp a guy, bro, I want it to be stuff like Puka Nacua
out of nowhere.
Yeah, just y'all like who? Y'all ain't want to listen, bro. You didn't want to hear me, and we're here now. And I tried to tell you, bro. Okay?
That's Cam Jackson, then. That sounds like Cam Jackson.
That sounds like Cam. You know what? I can't say he's a Gator. I can't stamp him. He was playing for any other team.
Well, does it make a difference if he was a transfer? He started his career at Memphis. Does that make a difference? No. Okay.
Gator now. He's been soiled, bro. He's been soiled. He's been soiled. The cereal box has been open, bro. The integrity has been, you know what I'm saying, compromised. You know what I'm saying? Can't do it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. All right. Next
Oh,
up.
you know who I will stamp?
Let's hear it.
I'll stamp Jabari Muhammad, bro.
Okay, I respect it. I respect it. You've been on him for a long time. You've been. Oh, the kid dropping another stamp. I gotta check the tape and I gotta gather everyone's stamps. All right, we're gonna have a stamp show, and I need to gather everyone's stamps. We need to get everything. Yes. Yep. Dana's definitely on the Ethan Downs. I got that one. I know Mrs. Presky has Jay Knott. DK got a few. So we got to do a stamp.
The safety from
yeah. From South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Well, DK has a few already. I got my one. I got Jaden Blue. That's my guy. Helly, you got about 6.
Yeah,
right? Five to 6. Yeah,
got a couple of guys.
Definitely need a stamp show. We need to reflect that in the mock draft simulator. By the way, I'm waiting for mock drafts. CP General Manager at gmail.com. I'm waiting. Our patrons. Where are the mock drafts? Yeah. Let's get to it.
DK
trying to get on board.
Nah, bro. Ain't no room, bro. Ain't no room, bro. Nah, you can stamp.
Oh man.
You in terms of that guy, we on the same page.
You know what? Mr. Ciprasky always with the intriguing conversation. Let me go back in the comments here. He's a West Coast guy. I got his Huskies talking about running backs from back in the day. Napoleon Kaufman, Corey Dillon. Yeah. Dillon obviously had an excellent career. Kaufman's career cut short. He went into ministry, but yeah, I like Napoleon Kaufman a lot coming out. I liked him a lot coming out. When I see names like Napoleon Kaufman, I think about my guy, bro. My guy, you know who my guy was, Headley?
Who that?
Coming from Texas Tech, bro. You know who my guy was?
Hansbard,
bro. He went into ministry too. He went into ministry too, man. They didn't
another one, bro.
Want to play ball, bro. Who else?
When you start talking about running backs back in the day, bro, this one gonna hurt, bro. Troy Hambrick.
Man, come on, man.
Cowboys.
That don't even compute, bro.
Good old Hambrick,
Troy Hambrick, bro.
That's when Juice was a Cowboys fan, bro. Right now he's a closet Cowboys fan. Don't let him fool you.
Nah, let that go, bro. I'm a Kane fan, bro.
How about the running back from Iowa State, right? Around the state.
Troy Davis. Troy Davis. Yeah. They both were 2,000-yard backs in the same season.
The edge from Army. What was buddy name?
Oh, Andre Carter.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't like that guy.
We didn't care for Andre Carter.
Well, I think his last hurrah was to go to the Senior Bowl. Like, all right, if he could bust a grape here, then we might give him a head nod. But he ain't bust no grape.
People were banging the table for him, but yeah, he didn't have the functional strength, bro.
No, sir.
And if you don't have the functional strength, then you got to be super twitchy. You got to be explosive, and he didn't really have that either. So I think he was just bigger and better than the players that he was typically facing while playing at Army. You know what I mean?
Made the most of it.
Yeah. Sadiq is second, and I get Abdul Carter by myself. Oh, no, you might have to fight Drew. You might have to fight Drew.
Carter, bro.
No. That's not a 5-star guy?
I got to confirm. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one.
Because I would stamp him, but I didn't know I thought he was a 5-star guy.
Yeah. We do have some updating to do. So, Mr.
We do that.
So we'll get on top of that here shortly. We got college football tomorrow. State.
Mm-hmm. State versus Georgia Tech. Yeah, we'll see the new look offense. DJU out there. See what receiver step up out there, man.
I saw an interesting stat, bro, about FSU. I saw an interesting stat, bro. It's not even about necessarily FSU. It's about your coach, bro.
Norvell.
They say Norvell don't have any wins, true road wins against top 25 opponents, bro.
Okay.
Norvell's smart. He's smart, bro. Let me get that. Let me get that neutral site, bro.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting stat. You know what I'm saying? Because in college football, momentum, the stage, all of that plays a role when you're talking about teenagers, young adults. You know what I'm saying? It does play a role. So, I think it's been a shrewd move in order to, especially when you're facing some of these, upper echelon teams, play them early, play them neutral, right? And let your coaching take over. You know what I'm saying? So Got to give Norvell credit for that. Certainly, he coaches them up. All right, Tyleik Williams. This seems like a stamp. I'm assuming he's stampable. Was he stampable, Headley? Is Tyleik stampable?
If he is, I'm stamping him if he is, man. This is my guy right here. 91 on the defensive line. Like you said, Michael Hall. Defensive line had a lot of ballers over the last couple of years, but I just kept on seeing him flashing, man. I'm watching the rest of the guys. I'm watching JT Tuamalo. I'm watching what's the other edge? 33 Jack Sawyer, Michael Hall, and man, to me, this guy might have the highest upside out of every guy on that defensive line that he played with. He took over games. Like I said, high upside player, big body, people mover, Chris Jones, peekaboo. Like, we talk about the peekaboo move. I think this guy's probably the best in the class at the peekaboo. That's being able to disengage whenever he wants to. He's kind of toying with the blockers at times. He got those wild moments. It's littered all over his tape. Size, speed, quickness, hand combination. Super enticing player. The athleticism. Like somebody mentioned earlier, when he dropped into coverage with that fluidity, make the play on the ball. And a guy that big is not supposed to be making plays like that. Manhandled Joe Alt with power. I see my guy Jim Nagy was talking about that on the X, man. I'm like, bro, preach. Because it wasn't one time. It wasn't two times. And it's crazy because Joe Alt's a left tackle, but for some reason, him and Tyleik got matched up one-on-one, and Joe Alt couldn't handle him throughout that game. And to me, like I said, many times you watch him and, like, he's the best guy on his defensive line. Right now, Drew got him as a day two guy. To me, he's a round one guy. And I think he's better than some of the guys that people are going to have above him, man. So we'll see what he does this season, man. And to me, once he has a big year, I think he's going to be moving up draft boards.
So the only reason I am a day two guy, I just want to see more. That's it. And if, as far as I'm concerned, he's going to move up the board. And his score is going to go up. But yeah, I pretty much got the same notes you got, man. Not a guy you can block in one-on-one consistently. He's too strong, powerful, consistent with his hands and getting them extended, stand guys up. Waiting to shed and make the play. And his shed is nasty and embarrassing at times, man. You want to talk about Cam Jackson doing some nasty? This guy is they're kind of in the same mold when it comes to shedding blocks, bro. We're not only just gonna shed the block and make the play. We're gonna embarrass you, shed the block, and make the play, right? And do it consistently over and over. I can't tell how many times I've watched guys like. They'll have the center going against them. I'm like, this is like, what are we doing? Are y'all not watching the tape? I mean, it's crazy, bro. You know, and I would say this: the way to get him to beat him, you have to seal him off. Like, it has to, first of all, it has to be a double team, and both guys got to work in tandem in terms of kind of sealing him off and turning, so that way he can't get that strength going. It ain't easy, but I've seen it. But outside of that, man, he's at times he's unblockable, man. And like Ellie said, he has the potential to be the best defensive lineman in terms of all the guys that have come out or that are currently on the roster. Curry's always the best guy on the roster currently in terms of defensive line. But yeah, man, I'm expecting big things from this guy, man.
He's gonna be a riser. Right, you know, Helly's been early on Tyleik. He's going to be a riser, and I agree wholeheartedly with the sentiment that the defense, despite all the names, right? There's a ton of names at every level of this defense. You know, he's obviously flanked by, you know, Sawyer and Tuamala. It was him and Michael Hall, bro. That is where, to me, it started and ended. Michael Hall and Tyleik Williams beating guys up, all five guys, whether they started inside and went to the outside or vice versa, or just went straight ahead downhill. To me, they were the key figures in that defense. And with Michael Hall moving on to the NFL, he's the guy. He's the guy. They're going to go as he goes, because I've made mention it, and I know D-Kid's going to be like, you know, Juice is going to, you know, shit on JT. But the reality is that Jack Sawyer and JT, they get a lot of one-on-ones, and they don't consistently win them. That's the reality. And the reason why they're getting these opportunities, despite not necessarily always taking advantage of them, is because of one Tyleik Williams. He is a problem up front, man. He's a problem. There were a couple of times, and of course we did our film study yesterday for the patrons, the Michigan-Ohio State matchup, and outside of when he tried to, submarine short yardage situation, right? So low man wins. They're taught to go low, right? Let the linebacker scrape over the top and make the play. Outside of those instances, couldn't be blocked, bro. He simply couldn't be blocked. And we're talking about an entire Michigan offensive line that is now on an NFL roster in some capacity, whether it be, they're on the 53, they're going to be on the practice squad, full of NFL players. You mentioned the matchup against Joe Alt, where he manhandled him, despite, the interesting matchup, the interior guy versus the left tackle. You know what I'm saying? He is the one, bro. He's the one. I can't stress this enough. He's the player that I think you circle when it comes to Ohio State. There's a lot of talent on this defense. Again, at every level, he's flanked by a lot of talent. But if you can't get Tyleik Williams under control, forget about it. You can forget about it. You know what I'm saying? The rest of the guys, I'm gonna take my chances. I'm gonna bet that my guys can outdo the guy across from them more often than not. When it comes to him, it's a different story. You got to put two bodies on him for sure.
JT Tuimalu, bro. It's easy. It's easy, DK.
I just got to see. I just got to see. Now that I see the phonetic, we're good. We're good. You may not get. I mean, Drew's gonna butcher it, but
Yep.
I'm gonna get it situated.
JT Casper.
Oh man. All right.
You see DK mentioning Cameron Jackson from Florida State.
Yeah. He also mentioned Daryl Jackson, the transfer from Miami to FSU.
No, that's what I'm going to say. Daryl Jackson.
Yeah, he out of sight, out of mind, right? So considering when he transferred, I mentioned he transferred to be closer to home. He's from Havana, that's North Florida, just outside of Tallahassee. His mother was ill, so he transferred to be closer to home, and he just didn't get a chance to play last season.
Yeah, they hated it. They didn't give him that. They did the same thing with North Carolina Tez
Walker.
But they made him play after a while. But your boy Daryl didn't get to play.
So Jackson didn't get to play. So I think it's an out of sight, out of mind type of situation. The opportunity that he started as a sophomore at Miami looked good. He definitely looked good. So he'll have an opportunity to really solidify his draft stock. And he has a lot of the term is escaping me right now. Eligibility, excuse me. He has eligibility. I don't know that he's going to come out after the season unless he has a monster year, right? But yeah, definitely a talented player for sure. All right, two more players here this evening. The creme de la creme. The question is, what order do Mason Graham and Deion Walker come in here for Drew? All right.
Hold on, real quick.
And before I do it, I want to ask Helly the question: Who do you have as the top interior defensive lineman?
Bro, it's easy, bro. It's Deion Walker.
It's easy. It's easy.
Come on,
oh,
bro.
Man, it's easy. Well, it's a consensus for us because I got Walker over Graham, but I like Graham a lot too, bro. He's definitely number 2 in this class in my mind. What were you going to say, Drew?
Can Tyleik? Can he? Let me make sure I use the right word.
Helly believes it. I think they're different players, bro. I think they're different players.
Well, no. Can Tyleik end up over those guys?
I think so.
I think Helly believes so. Yeah,
I think so. Deion Walker's a freak, but Tyleik, I like
Tyleik. Like I said, he gonna be a riser, bro. I think we're higher than the consensus on Tyleik Williams for sure. Even with this 7.7, as Henley mentioned, it's probably going to be north of 8 when it's all said and done. He's that good, but I have him as number 3 right now as well. I do. So we're all in agreement. Deion Walker is number 1. So the next player is Mason Graham out of Michigan. And Henley, you mentioned he's a technician. Why do you see him as a technician?
He's got a great combination of feet and hands. He uses his feet and hands effectively to win on the inside, because you see some guys that they got the feet, but they don't have the hands, or they might have the hands, but not the feet. But he has a great combination of both. Has an arsenal of moves on the interior. You see the chop. You see the swim. He creates penetration quickly up the middle. You can see him being used on stunts always. He's underrated athleticism and quickness. He leads with his hands all the time. Can win with quickness or power. It's the hand counters. I think he has the number 1 hand counters in the class over Deion Walker, over Tyleik Williams. Just the rip, the chop, the spin move, this great feet and hand combination. Very active on the interior, plays with really good leverage. When he doesn't make the play, it's still there. He's still always around the football, and I like him a lot. So yeah, I think the three is really close. Tyleek, Mason Graham, Deion Walker, they're all really close. I think Walker is the freak out of the three. I think Mason Graham is the best technician out of the three, and I think Tyleek Williams is just more physical. He can stop the run. He's just more imposing out of the three. So yeah, I like all three of these guys, and I agree. Right now, I have Mason Graham number 2, and then Tyleek number 3. But I think Tyleek could work his way up this upcoming season.
Byron Murphy or Johnny Newton? Who you got? Where do those players? Where do those players stack up in this class?
Oh, out of these guys, with those guys,
yeah,
they're above all of them. I like all three of them above them.
So you're taking Walker, Graham, and Tyleek over Murphy and Newton.
Yep.
Okay. What about you, Drew?
Damn, bro. Why we gotta do this, bro?
Put you on the spot.
Helly
did it with no hesitation. Helly did it with no hesitation, bro.
I'm working through it. Yeah, I think I'm trying to.
This is a special group, bro. As much as we let Newton and Murphy, it's a special group. I'm gonna throw another wrench in there as Drew thinks about that. Drew, Helly, what about Dorless?
Oh, don't even ask me about that.
No, I'm taking all three of them over Dorless too.
Gotcha.
Dorless is more of a tweener. Tyleek got the size. I think Walker got the size, and Graham is not as big as those two guys, but he's bigger than Dorless. So just the size aspect of the game, I pick those three over Dorless.
Yeah, Marcus Tuiasosopo. I know how to pronounce that one. I do know how to pronounce that one. Lofa Tutupu. I got another one for you. There you go.
Lofa Tutupu. Mr. C said Murphy has a shot at Defensive Player of the Year. It's gonna be hard to beat out Latu.
You're not gonna beat out Latu.
Latu a monster. But don't they do it for each conference? Or am I mistaken? I could be wrong. I don't think so. Yeah.
I think
I'm with you.
I think I'll jump on the bandwagon with Helly. I think Newton and Murphy are behind these three.
All right.
Yeah, I can't do it. I was trying to do it, but I can't do it. Gotta do the right thing, be responsible.
Yeah, I consider Mason Graham like a souped up version of your boy, Helly.
Fisk?
Fisk. Yeah. Fisk? Yeah. Like Fisk on anabolic HGH.
I can see that, definitely.
What are your thoughts here on Graham?
Yeah, I think Helly's right in terms of his ability to be a technician, but the first thing I noticed in most of the plays that I watched in the beginning was his power, man. His ability to just kind of penetrate and handle the offensive linemen like they're a rag doll, like they're just a child out there, man. When that didn't work out, that's when you saw the hand usage, the setting up the offensive linemen. At times you would see a burst for a time or two. Like he has a really good plan in terms of you open up your toolbox and I can use a hammer here, you know what I'm saying? But the better tool might be, the wrench, depending on what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And he just knows when to use it, how to use it. He was rarely beat. He's very consistent. It's a guy, when I first saw him, I didn't realize he was 320 pounds, bro. I'm like, he's a little smaller guy go there. Like, damn, 3 bills? Like, I was expecting about 280, 290. 3 bills, looks wide, and I mean, and in that Washington game, I mean, in the playoffs, essentially, that's kind of where he kind of made his hay. But if you go back and you watch him routinely through the season, he was the one guy that did not come off the field. Jenkins and Graham were the guys kind of swapping in and out, and if Graham came out, it's because they went on a long series in terms of being driven down the field. So he would come out. And then he came off the field the following series. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it might be a long series, right? And then 6 or 7 plays into the next series, he then came out, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so we talk about guys like your boy Leonard. Was it Leonard Taylor of last year? You know, and we talk about Cam Jackson in terms of why he's not playing a bunch. This guy was always on the field, always effective. Didn't matter how many snaps he played, and I mean, yeah, bro, he's a guy, bro. Like, and going into it, I'm like, there's no way that Deion Walker, him and Deion Walker, even close. But I can't deny this man. You know, I can't deny him, bro. He's too good.
Yeah,
Too good and too consistent, bro.
I don't know if he's actually 6'3", 317 because he always plays with great leverage as well.
Yep.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And man, perhaps he's just adept at it. Perhaps those measurements are correct, but he doesn't appear to be quite that big. I can see him, you know, around 305. I can see him around 6'1.5", 6'2", maybe, because he plays with excellent leverage and the hand usage, man. There's some quickness, there's some twitchiness to him. He's a legitimate 3 technique, bro. He's a legit. He's not a plotter 2-gap guy. No, he's upfield. He's making his way to the quarterback. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that he just simply does not come off the field. Like, you got to deal with him play after play after play. And again, as you mentioned, Drew, it's obvious that he had a very strong end to the season. It's like the light bulb went off. But if you watch him throughout the year, he's making his plays. He's making his share of plays. So yeah, Mason Graham's star, his arrow is certainly pointing up. We got Mr. T Money, 1993, a Panthers fan, checking in. What's going on, man? He's looking for a 3-4 nose tackle as the Panthers adjust. He's looking for a nose tackle. Who do you have in this class to play that 0, that 1 tech?
Yeah, that's the number one guy can do that. The guy coming up next can do that.
Great hands with a ton of shock value in them. Yes, absolutely. Bench presses, guys.
Nazir can play that. Nazir Stackhouse from Georgia can play that. The next guy coming up, our number one guy, can play the nose.
The Gator.
Cam Jackson can play the nose.
Yeah. Put Cam at the nose, bro. Let him do his thing. I like it. I like Cam Jackson, and you might be able to get him day 3. You know what I'm saying? I know
come on, bro. What?
Drew may not agree with it, but you know, you might be able to get him day 3. No?
Come on, bro.
4th round. You know what I'm saying? You know, plug and play, 4th round.
All right, bro. Mark the tape, bro. See, all this talk, bro. Okay, I got you, bro. I got you. Tyleek could play the nose as well. You can play the nose as well.
DK was asking, do you think Tyleek could play like Jeffrey Simmons in the pros?
I do.
I think the way they use Jeffrey Simmons, yes, I would agree with that.
Tyleek could play 3 tech. Yep,
I agree with that. Yep. All right. And that takes us to our top-ranked interior defensive lineman here in our preliminary rankings of the defensive tackles for the 2025 NFL Draft. 1, Deion Walker of the Kentucky Wildcats. Big man that's not supposed to move the way he moves, man. Drew, let's talk about it. Let's talk about why he's your top-ranked interior defensive lineman.
He's just extremely disruptive, man. I've been watching him since he was a freshman. Because, you know, I'm an SEC guy. I'm like, bro, who's this guy? I had to keep an eye on him. I was like, and it wasn't when he was playing the game. I just happened to be watching, you know, them play somebody else, and he's just consistently in the backfield. If he's not in the backfield, he's causing so much disruption that things are not going the way that you want them to go in terms of you know, a run that's supposed to go down, maybe the B gap, but he's messing up the A gap so bad that the B gap is getting disrupted. And so now they have to either try to cut it back, which runs right into him, or they have to take it outside. Like, he causes that much disruption, and he's consistent, man. And you can play all types of games with him up front. He has that nice patience and that burst that you want from when you're playing those games up front, those twists and stunts and different things. He's got the bull rush. I mean, you got 6'6", 348, and the man play like he still play like he's 6'6", because, you know, sometimes he'll get out leverage at 6'6", but sometimes he play like he 250, bro, because the way he can move and kind of slither at times. Like, he's the entire package that you want. Because he's got that burst, he's got the hands. I think the hands can probably get a little bit better, just being a little bit more consistent in terms of using them, because sometimes he'll just kind of try to use his shoulder to kind of power through guys. But I mean, he's just the thing I look for On the D line, it's just consistency, man, and he's that through and through.
Yeah, Deion Walker, big time prospect here, probably a top 10 pick in the class. And the scary thing about Deion Walker for me is he can even be better.
Yeah.
You know, it's certain things on tape you see at times. It's like, bro, you're not supposed to get pushed off the ball like that. Like I know you can make that play, and sometimes he doesn't make the play. So I think he can even take another step in his game this season. He's a big, powerful 6'6", 350. I have him here, D tackle prospect, hard to move in the trenches. He has that jolt back initial power. What you call it, Drew? The defibrillator hands. Yeah, you see that with Deion Walker, and when he uses his hands, very hard to block. You know, combination of quickness and power. For a big guy, you see the athleticism. He flashes that. He can create pressure up front. Man, like he can play the run. He can play the pass. He's very hard to miss up front. And like I say, he does a great job in the run game with really good leverage. But the leverage could be more consistent. Like I say, sometimes you get washed off the ball and you make a face like, nah.
What are you doing?
I didn't see that right, bro. Not Deion Walker getting pushed off the ball, but it happens sometimes. So that's why I said he has another step to take. That 8.4 could be 8.7. You know, with a great season this year, if you could put it all together. And you see the tape, and he just makes ridiculous plays on tape, man. That twitch, you don't see a guy that big moving that fast with his size and get to the edge and make a play. It's crazy, bro. Somebody mentioned Dexter Lawrence, man. That's the guy you think of where you 350 plus, and you're not supposed to be that quick. You're not supposed to be able to make a play on the edge. And Deion Walker makes it on tape, you know, effortlessly at times. So I just want to see him put it together a little more. I want to see him being dominant all of the time, because it's kind of like somebody brought up Jadeveon Clowney. I know it's a different position, but it's like, yo, you're dominant, but you're not dominant all of the time. And I want to see you be dominant every single snap, man. So that's what I'm waiting for Deion Walker this season.
You know, I think so. So the two faults that you have for him, I think he plays a lot of snaps. That may be part of it. And then he is 6'6". So when I see that guy's that tall, that's one of the things that it just may happen from a time or two. You just hope it doesn't happen at the wrong time. Normally it didn't for him, but yeah.
I want to get the audience's feedback in terms of our presentation with these rankings. Let me know what you think. Certainly some editing, formatting issues. Definitely clean it up. But if you like how we represented the rankings and the analysis here, the scouting, let me know. Let me know in the comments so we can see if you want to continue to move in this particular direction or tweak it a bit. So certainly looking forward to that feedback. Man, Walker's a monster, bro. But you're right. You know, you guys hit the nail on the head in terms of your assessment. There's still an opportunity for growth with him, which is a scary proposition because he's so dominant as is. And of course, a lot of comps to Dexter Lawrence because of that body type and the ability to move, right? Be effective against the run as well as affect the passer. Not just disruption, but actually make plays on the quarterback, being a legitimate issue on third and obvious passing down. So Walker's special. To me, it's about work ethic, right? It's about work ethic. And I'm not necessarily questioning it. I think what's going to get him to that next level is work ethic, mastery of your craft, right? You know, you see guys who don't necessarily possess his physical tools have a ton of success because of their dedication to their craft. When you have a guy with this type of natural ability, physical gifts, when you combine that with a dogged mentality, a desire to get better, you know, a workmanship approach to things, and it's already kind of evident in terms of the fact that he plays as many snaps as he does. But if he continues to build on that and take it seriously, the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit for Deion Walker, right? There really is no limitations in terms of what he could potentially be at the next level as an interior defensive lineman. So really, really impressive group. I'm sure there'll be some new names added to it. We'll probably be 20 deep when it's all said and done. And we'll obviously roll in my grades as well as Headley, so we get a consensus for you, and it'll be reflected in our mock draft simulator. Be sure to check us out, couchpotatogm.com. As I mentioned before, you go to couchpotatogm.com, you can get to any of our platforms, YouTube, Patreon, the mock draft simulator. Join the Patreon. I got to plug it. I'm going to do a better job of plugging it moving throughout the season. Listen, that film session is a treasure trove of information in that, right? You know, we we always seem to discover something new, right? It's games that we've watched before, we rewatch them and we see something new. Treasure trove of information readily at your fingertips. So definitely join the Patreon. Get those mock draft simulator results. Get those rolling in, and we'll get an update out there, and I'll make sure I announce it to the masses as well. So again, football's upon us. We got football, college football tomorrow, and the NFL is right around the corner. So really looking forward to it. Looking forward to this 2024 season as we work our way to the 2025 NFL draft. Any final parting shots here?
I got one. I got a big shot to make, man. My gripe with CPGM Drew's top 10. You don't got my guy, bro. Warren Brinson, defensive tackle, Georgia, number 97. Where he at, bro? Brinson.
Where Brinson at, B?
Bro,
where he at?
Where's Brinson? We talked about this, Drew.
Did we?
Yeah, we talked. Remember we watched the tape together on the Patreon. It was like, yo, Warren Brinson, number 97.
Oh, you did. That is right. You're right. All right, my bad, bro. There's a couple of guys. That's your boy from Miami. I was gonna watch your boy from Miami, but I was like, nah.
That boy Brinson, nice boy. That boy Brinson, nice.
So, where would you put him in terms of the order here? I can run it.
I probably put him in between 6 and 10, somewhere between 6 and 10. Yeah, okay. We'll get in the top 10 for sure. I won't put him in the top 5, but I'll put him 6 and 10.
Oh man!
Listen.
Man!
Listen, I got plenty to do, bro. Plenty to do.
We'll be back next week. We'll be back next week, Friday. We'll stay here. We'll stay here with the rankings. Take a look at the polls, see where it ended up in terms of what the next
receiver, bro. Come on, bro.
Is it receiver? Is it receiver?
Yeah, bro.
I saw DB starting to creep up. Maybe I get a new poll out there. See how things stack up. Take the poll down, Juice. You know what I'm saying? After you make a determination as to who wins, take the poll down so that we can prepare accordingly. So at any rate, we'll see you guys back same time, same place next week, Friday. For Hadley, Drew, this is Juice. Have a great weekend.